original Katie Kane track is the intro, and he's like, I know he knows a lot of them. So he's like, oh, which one? And I can't remember the name of the song. So it's just like, it's the one that goes like, it's the chill.
No doubt. No
And
doubt.
he knew immediately. Was like, oh, word, that one.
Yeah. We got to work that one back in, man. We are live right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 18th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I am your host, Katie M. Kane. With me is my co-host, Will Terps.
Yo.
And tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Max Early from the Oregon Leaf. He is the state director.
Yep. Newly hired state director.
Oh, right on. So, like, was he writing and stuff before, like you were?
He was a salesman, so he was promoted
selling
from
ads.
Yeah, yep, salesman to state
Dude,
director.
I'm glad I wrote some questions about that. Then, man, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's when it was the farm shop. I was managing that for a couple months. That's the guys I would talk to from magazines were the ad guys, because like they cold called us, cold call us like anybody else, like, hey, Oregon Leaf magazine, this is dope magazine. And then there'd be like magazines from Cali too. I'm like, dude, why do I want to advertise in your state? I can't sell weed down there, like.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's cool, dude. So
I think we have him. He should be on or getting ready to get on. I'll double check. But
yeah, it's okay, Will.
I'll take a dab real quick.
All good. So I understand that my co-host Will Terps also writes for the Oregon Leaf magazine. So if any of our viewers are in Oregon and in a dispensary, and you grab one of those magazines off of the coffee table and you take it home, there's probably an article in there written by Will Terps.
Yes, there is. And well, yeah, pretty much every magazine I contribute something for. And Max, like you said, he'd been a salesman with the Leaf for about a year, I'd say. I want to say. Doing a really great job. And Nate, our current, who was our previous state director for Oregon, stepped down. He's going to be handling California in the near future. So Max stepped up, and yeah, it's been going great.
That's dope. So you guys are going into California too?
Yep, right now. We're currently in Maryland. I was thinking all the states: Maryland, Oregon, Washington, Alaska. California next. We're gonna be in Maine soon too. I think by next year, and then Massachusetts hopefully too. So
that's dope. Well,
yeah.
So were you writing articles about spots out there when you were out there on the East Coast for your while the shop was getting remodeled?
I did write one. Kind of about the scene out there. The only reason I didn't write more is because it was kind of tricky to find like photographers out there. There's not too many people that freelance in that area, and especially like freelance cannabis or have experience taking photos of cannabis products. So that was a bit difficult to coordinate. But I was able to give a little excerpt on my opinions on the dispensaries that were around where I was staying. So that was nice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, is he? Is Max on? It doesn't even seem he's on Discord yet. I'll hit him up and see what's up.
No,
he should
not.
be logging in.
He's still gray. Everybody else is green. I'm green. Will is green. Mitchell is green. We just got to get Max on there. Send him a message too. Is he at work right now?
No, he's off. I think he had the day off, but yeah, he's around. He's close by.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so you've been back in Oregon for a week or so?
Yep, about a week. a little bit
What's it
longer.
like adjusting to the time change, man? Are you back to Oregon now? Like, are you
Yeah, it's cool. I'm definitely adjusted to the jet lag. But the new shop's been really sick. Like it's a great location. There's the space is a lot more like usable and functional for what we need.
Yeah,
It's a really nice space. It's designed well. We have a nice like we have an office now. We have like a separate intake room. We have like a mini kitchen. There's no, I think we're gonna get a microwave for it, but there's no oven or anything. But there's like a sink,
we're
kitchen table, kitchen
toaster oven, Will.
counters.
Toaster oven.
Yep,
Get one
toaster
of those.
oven, microwaves. That's what I'm thinking. There's a bathroom. There's even a shower. I don't think anyone will use that. There's a nice backyard where you can literally sit out and take breaks. I mean, it's awesome. It's the main point is the that Jackson and Hannah are the owners of the property, so we don't have to really deal with anything outside of that.
Yeah,
But I'm
man.
stoked, man. It's a great location. It's right across. If you're exiting Fred Meyer's, you're staring right at it. It's literally like you look right straight ahead, and it's our dispensary from the main parking lot. So
Hell yeah. I went
yeah,
and checked it out the last time I was home in March. They were remodeling, cleaning, everybody had their masks on, breaking
hell yeah,
shit and it was all
yeah.
dusty.
Well, it looks a lot different now, but yeah, it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Next time you're in town, you gotta come see what's up.
Yeah, I'm
And hopefully
excited to
next
check
time
it
you're
out.
you're in town, you'll be moving or something.
Yeah, man. I keep applying for jobs, Will. We'll see if something shakes loose. I know some people, and some of
Hmm.
those people got pulled, so we'll see what happens. But my main thing is just living wage. It's like if I can't get a living wage, then I'm gonna stay where I'm at. Like,
Yeah,
you know. But there's a couple of jobs that I applied for that will pay my bills. And then like
dope.
that's all I asked for. And I
Heck
would bail
yeah,
in a heartbeat, Will. Like
yeah.
I
No, I
dig the
feel you.
warm weather and the sun down here, but dude, yeah, I really craft cannabis is not a thing down here yet, like it's just not. Um True Med AZ, they got the best shit on the shelf, I'd say, as far as the state goes. So shout out to those guys. Maybe they can come on the show. I'd like to ask them some questions about their methods because they're like 5 blocks away from me, dude, and I drive by them every time I come home, and there's usually some nice chem terps when I drive by that corner, just wafting in from
Yeah.
my car. So I'm like, damn, that smells bomb. So those guys do really nice work, and their IG feed is legit. So I dig following them, and
Heck yeah.
yeah,
All right. So Max says he should be on in about 10 minutes or so.
okay.
Um, but in the meantime, I do have some things that I wanted to touch on. Oregon updated a few laws and OLCC rules this since coming back or working in a dispensary. They're pretty interesting.
So
Uh,
what's the diff? Well, I'm gonna grab
the
a beer real quick while you start, okay?
Go for it.
Right.
Um, so the new um rule changes and laws that are going about is one of them. There's a few, but one is about pre-rolls. Before they hadn't specified who technically could legally be making and producing pre-rolls. There was some shops doing it. There's some producers doing it. There's some processors doing it. Kind of varied. They recently specified that, and so retailers can roll joints. They're able to roll like flower only joints, and they came out with new guidelines about labeling them. They have to be labeled as a non-infused joint. They have to be labeled as how much usable cannabis is in them and how much net weight of cannabis is them. So plus cannabis is in them. So plus the weight of the
The
paper
cone.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then
So wait, producers can't roll joints? I missed the first part. Will, my bad.
no
Producers can't
worries.
roll them
No,
anymore?
producers can, retailers can. So they can produce non-infused, just like flower pre-rolls. with
Yeah,
the
but
the suggest the new testing guidelines of
yeah,
the non-infused, the usable versus net weight, and
yeah,
then if you want to make infused pre-ols like with
like
keef,
yeah.
hash, bho, only processors can make those, and
Ah,
those only need net weight. They don't actually need like the usable weight because that'd be kind of hard to get with depending on what's
yeah,
infused in it, so they only need the net weight. But yeah, I find it interesting that like only processors can roll those now, and I would think that they would allow producers to, especially if you'd done a collab with a processor, and you
yeah.
had some of that, you'd be able to, okay, I'm gonna roll, now we have this oil to go with the flower, the same strain of the flower we recently harvested. So let's do, a same strain run of concentrating that, but unfortunately, they don't have the option to do that unless their processor can do it, or can do it
Yeah.
for them.
What else changed, Will? Is there anything different about the edibles? I feel like that shit is still kind of whack in Oregon.
So I don't know too much about like what they exactly changed about the edibles, but I know they did because Dirty Arm Farm had to change so remember he had an 880 milligram adabanol on the rec
Oh,
market. It was eight
yeah.
ounces. I think something changed about size and how many fluid ounces you were allowed to have with a liquid edible.
Yeah.
Because now he was able to keep the same milligram. It's still 880, but it's now in 4 milligram bottles, so even more concentrated.
Damn.
Um, yeah, but there is definitely something. That's the only reason he did that with the law change. I'm not sure exactly what,
Yeah.
but
Cause I mean,
yeah,
cause
that
in my
change.
head, that's like a point 0.8 gram, right,
Yeah,
of just CBD, right?
yep.
But instead of an 8 ounce or 4 ounce bottle, it's only in twos now.
Uh, It's comes in, I have to check. I think it still comes in 1 ounce and 4 ounce regular and extra strength. So it's
Oh,
like the
okay.
1 ounce, and then you get the 4 ounce regular strength with like, which I think is like 220 milligrams or so, or something like that. And then you get the extra strength, which is the 4 ounce 880.
No
Uh,
doubt.
yeah, but
So,
go ahead.
uh, did you is there any other rule changes besides that you wanna talk about?
Yeah, there was the testing too, as I touched on earlier. Like you're not able to put 0%. If it's 0% CBD, you have to do the LOQ
Or
now, like that.
0% THC for the CBD products?
Yeah, for no, it's for CBD. Yeah, if there's zero THC, which is a rare occurrence, you'd have to do LOQ for that too. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just you can't put zero on any label now in terms of test percentage.
that's weird, man.
Yeah.
So,
And then there is another. I'll think of it in a second, but
is
there
that is
was
that
another.
is that to suggest to the consumer that, like, there could still be a picogram or 2
Yes,
of
yes, I
that
think
in there?
so. I think so.
It's
Yes.
not there's not
Even though it
none,
doesn't matter, I
yeah.
think that it's like you can't accurately say like that it's for sure 100%, 0%. So it's, limit of or quantification, I think it is,
Yeah,
covers the fact that it might not be able to detect like a minute amount.
no doubt. The,
Yeah.
did you see, Nate Diaz smoking a joint on the open workouts before his fight earlier this week?
I didn't, and I question, is UFC one of the only pro sports that allows that or is okay with
Nah,
that?
dude, THC, I think, is the compound that is, illegal if you piss dirty for
Yeah.
THC, and my understanding is that he had just a CBD only strain.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's what I mean? Like, it was a open workout in Vegas. They have, like, just a bunch of promotional events the whole week leading up to the fight on Saturday. And
Yeah.
I think it was on, like, Tuesday or Wednesday, but they were just doing an open workout on the stage, and dude, he just pulled out a joint, fired it up, puffed it, walking back and forth the stage a couple times, passed it to his homie, and they passed it through the crowd. I was like, "Damn, man, that's tight." Because
Yeah.
it's rec in Nevada, isn't it? I
Yep.
mean,
Oh yeah.
it's
Definitely.
it's dope to me too that security for the venue and shit didn't come and break that up and try and hate on him. Like it was pretty dope. And I feel like that fight was the it was the real main event. Like people were tuning in to see Pettis and Diaz more than
Oh yeah,
Miocic and Cormier, you know.
definitely. I was
Yeah.
glad that I caught that one.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. Repping for the Stoners. And then
Yeah,
he's Nate Diaz.
that was his first fight in like what 3 years too.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Jesus,
It's a long
that's
time.
impressive.
Yeah. You know, like he was
Like really
gonna
impressive.
fight
Fuck.
Anthony Pettis, dude. You know, like after 3 years, like there was no ring rust at all, man. He tore
Uh-uh.
that shit up. I was impressed. Um,
Absolutely.
we gotta try and get that guy on the show, bro.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I wonder
That'd
if
be
we could get him
tight.
on.
That might be a little hard, but
Yeah, we'll see. We'll hit
maybe if
him
we
up.
get bigger, we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, we'll follow him on IG.
Right.
Yeah, be like, yo, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we could get one of the local PDX influencer, or like not PDX, but like someone like who was it? God, I can't. I don't think I don't know if this is the guy from PDX. I don't really pay attention to the NBA. Cliff Robinson. I don't know if he played in PDX,
yeah,
but
hell
he's a
yeah,
big
bro.
yeah, he's
He's
a
an
big
old school
supporter
brother.
of that. So that maybe maybe we get him on. There's
That's a
another guy
good
too, another
idea.
ex
Well,
NBA.
let me try to get up because I met him at a conference too. At that same conference, I was talking about MJ Freeway. Like
Yeah,
they
just
had this.
the
It
thing
was
is with some of these cats is like I don't know if they like expect, because I feel like they're often paid money to show up places and show up and
yeah,
support us stuff. So I don't know if they'd be like ask for money to show up on our show. That would obviously
yeah,
be fuck no.
yeah,
But who knows?
yeah.
Maybe they'd be down.
Yeah, man, that would be dope. Cause man, I met him at the Cannabis Collaborative conference, and like, dude, I had my business plan and a spiral, little book with presentation, my business card. I was like, dude, I was like, can you look at this? And dude, he took 5 minutes and thumbed through my shit, looked at my spreadsheet, he was just like, man, he's like, this shit looks butter, bro. He's like, I already got my shit going, so I'm not the investor you're looking for. But he's like, dude, I feel like you might find him, man. You just got to keep talking to people. And I was just like,
Word.
man, thank you, dude. Like
Yeah.
most, most famous people would just be a dick in that situation, and he was cool,
Yeah.
man. He took 5 minutes to look at my business plan and tell me good job.
Word.
I was like, thanks, man.
Hell yeah. So Max says he's ready. I don't know if he's online right now, but
He is
I know
great.
we have him added to the group technically. I'll see what's up.
I'm gonna send him a message here. Okay, it says he's on. It's got his phone. Okay, he says yes. Okay, Max, if you can hear us, you gotta click on the. There he is.
Oh,
Can you hear us, Max?
How's it going?
Hey,
what's up,
dude?
Max?
How we living, guys?
Pretty
Doing all
good. How are
right,
you doing, man?
Doing great. Just got done eating some dinner. Just dabbed some Nelson & Co. GMO hash rosin. Life is great. How's your guys' weekend?
Doing very
Yeah, man.
well.
Chilling, loading bowls, drinking beers, talking with Will about weed, man.
Hell yeah.
Can we see him? I can't see me or him, but it
Yeah,
might.
I can't. We can't see. You got to click on the. I think it's the camera logo, Max. And if you don't want to be on, then I
And
think
that's
you
okay.
can.
Yeah, if this
There we
isn't.
go.
Oh, there he
All
is.
right,
Hell
there he
yeah.
is. Yeah.
Sweet.
Right.
All right. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see everyone. Let's go,
Okay.
guys.
Sweet. All
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, Max. So I'm gonna. Did you get the questions that I messaged to you earlier?
Yeah, man. Start firing them off, and we'll just get it rolling.
Okay, cool. So, you are the state director for Oregon Leaf Magazine. What does your
Yes.
title entail, Max? Can you tell us about your job a little bit?
So as of right now, I'm handling the content, social media, events, and then distribution for the Oregon Leaf magazine. So basically every month people like myself, Will, and some of our writing staff come together and just try to game plan what the next month is going to consist of based around a theme that we have for each issue. So moving forward, we have our hemp issue coming up in October. So for that issue, we're going to be sharing a lot of content with the Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, and Alaska Leaf, just because that's going to be more of a countrywide subject rather than some of the other topics that we have being more territorial to Oregon or whichever magazine that we're talking about specifically.
No doubt. So are you guys trying to campaign for certain senators in October, or is there some sort of vote going on in Congress or something that's nationwide?
That's yet to be decided. You know, we're kind of still getting our September issue wrapped up right now, so we really haven't got everything for October set in stone yet. It's kind of up in there as of right now. We have
Okay.
a few pre-existing ideas, but you gotta keep your eye out for October's issue for that question.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. Okay, so your magazine started in Seattle, correct?
Yes, sir. So the original name of the magazine was The Patient's Voice. So it was a medical publication in Washington, and at the time there was only medical cannabis, where a lot of this stemmed and arrived from, more or less. So yeah, all of the subject was focused on medical cannabis, and as the state went from medical to recreational, we changed the name of the magazine to Northwest Leaf, just to be a little bit more relatable, just to everybody that's in the industry, whether using it or for medicine or not. But that said, we still have a patient profile in all of our magazines, all four of them. So we definitely keep a very strong patient's voice alive throughout all of this.
Very cool, man. Very
Yeah.
cool. So when did you guys expand into Oregon and Alaska?
So Oregon, we've been here for about 4 years now. Alaska 2 years ago, and then we actually expanded onto the East Coast in Maryland earlier this year, and it's been really successful over there, man. Like we were just talking about, all of this stemmed from medical cannabis, and that's where it really falls back on them. At the end of the day, we wouldn't really be here without having, I don't know, the mindset of this is a healing plant, you know. So in Maryland, it's only medical there, so all of our topic is still focused around that. We had a health issue earlier this year in February, and we were able to put this child named Elias, who has severe seizures, on the front cover. And this kid's now getting stopped at the grocery store to like sign autographs and is a rock
Awesome.
star, you know? So
Yeah.
that's kind of an example of how we use our platform to shine the light on the right people, man. You know, there's tons of celebrities that are in the weed game, and that's cool and all, but at the same time, we're kind of out here representing the underdogs and really just trying to give love to the people that really deserve it, you know.
Same, Max. Same. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
like,
Yeah.
man, for real. Like we still want some famous guests on the show too, but we
Yeah.
want to talk to guys doing the work, man.
Yeah, that's cool and all too. That's
You
cool and all
know?
too, man. That they got there and they deserve it as well, you know. So let's not take away from the great things that some people that may be celebrities or athletes are doing for this industry, because we can't discriminate them, man. You know, like just because they haven't been doing it for as long as everyone else, we can't just shun them and be like, oh, we're the OGs. We've been doing this for fuck that mentality, man. We're all in this together. You know, it's not we should not nobody in the industry should have that elitist mentality where they're better than anyone else because they've been doing
Yeah.
for something longer than anybody else. It's not how this world works, man, you know. So we give love to
Yeah.
everyone.
No doubt. Good answer, Max. Good
Hell yeah.
answer. Okay, so my next question, can you tell us about your biggest mistake on the path to where you're at now?
Ooh, getting caught up with the wrong people and the wrong crowd, man. Who you are is like a huge part of like who you surround yourself with. Like you're a reflection of everyone that you surround yourself with, you know. So for me, it took hanging out with the wrong people and making some mistakes in order to get where I'm at right now. And to have this circle of people that is like pretty tight, man. You know, I know a lot of people, but like I don't let too many people into my life and like give them the same energy that I give like the people that are super close to me, you know. Like I probably give like average normal person like 50% of my energy, where like somebody that I really connect with and I'm close with, that's 100% right there, you know.
No doubt. Word up, Max. I agree. Same, man.
Hell yeah.
I don't, like I don't care about much, but the ones I do, it's like I'm trying to hit people up and make shit happen.
I'm always like
Definitely.
we're always driving so much, man. So it definitely leaves tons of room for opportunity to call and catch up with your loved ones that you haven't talked to for a while. That's what I'm doing. Road warrior these days, always mobbing from Eugene to Portland, Eugene to Southern Oregon and stuff, and gives me a lot of time to catch up and just like I don't know, fill people in, I don't know, hear what others are doing, all that good stuff.
No doubt. So you're based out of Eugene?
Yeah, man, I just got a crib in Springfield. Really excited about that. I'm like 2 hours away from Bend. There's like lots of great places to go hiking and explore out here. I'm like right near the Mackenzie River, so really stoked about
Tight,
that.
dude. That's dope.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so the flip side of that coin, Max, what can you tell us about your smartest move on the path to where you
Oh
are now?
man, just always listening to my inner self, man. Like there's that voice that you have in your head, your conscious, and like I don't know. There's certain like fight or flight moments where like if I didn't just like make that one decision and like I don't know, it's just that butterfly effect of life. You never know what could happen if you didn't do that one thing. So that's something that I always am like constantly thinking about. So, like today, man, I was hanging out with one of my buddies, Gary. He's the lead extractor for Happy Cabbage, and the only reason I know him is because of my ex-girlfriend who I'm not close with and he's not even that close with anymore, and I'm just like riding around, I'm like, damn, this is like one of my closest friends here in Oregon, and I wouldn't have like met him or gotten close with him if it wasn't for this other person. So I
Yeah,
really am like a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that like everything happens for a reason, and like good, bad, everywhere in between, like you just have to learn from everything that happens regardless to what it is. So that's something that I really do believe is just like I don't know, paying attention to the small little things, because those things all add up at the end of the day. So there's a
word
bunch of
up,
different things, man,
Max.
but just being true to myself, man, and just like listening to my inner voice mainly, I would say.
Good advice, man. Good advice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so from a media perspective, I guess, how do you feel about Leafly or Weedmap?
Honestly, bro, like as all right, set media aside, like as a consumer, like wanting to go buy products, those both of those apps don't work whatsoever. Like, please somebody like chime in, correct me if I'm wrong right now, but like if I want to go look up Sunset Sherbet by Natural Gas Extracts, like I can't find that shit. It's like I don't know. The app is not user friendly whatsoever, man. Like every time that I try to use it for a purpose, it's extremely hard to use, and I've had zero to no success with it, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody else here? Like, come on, chime in,
Well,
No,
guys.
I agree. The thing with Leafly and those type of sites is you're able to search as much information as that people put out there. So like
yeah.
if a
What
company
people
doesn't,
pay for. Like
yeah,
that extractor has to pay to have his name
Yeah,
searched on Leafly. And I'm
yeah,
like,
well
that's
also just
fucking
like
whack,
if
man.
like
Even
say
on the shelf,
you're a
that's a keyword.
dispensary, well say you're a dispensary and you say like, oh, I have GSC hash rosin. Who from?
Yeah.
How, like, I feel like a lot of places do that. It's like, okay, yeah, they add something to the menu and they don't specify who it's
I've
processed
I've I-
by or
I've
any of
had
that.
I've had so many negative experiences, like solely caused by Leafly and Weedmaps. I used to live in Colorado for like 6 years, and I moved about a year ago, and there's this one dispensary in walking distance of where I used to live. They sold 710 Labs, which is like really premier, like fire ass solventless. They make hydrocarbons as well, but they're based out of Colorado. They're out in California, just really premium stuff. But anyways, this dispensary had like my favorite strain at a really good price point, and I like went there solely because of that, and I like went to the dispensary like excited. All right, I'm about to make this purchase. They ring me up, and it's like $20 more than what was listed on their website, and it was like a different.
Wow.
It was a different tier, like 90U rosin essentially, and they're trying to explain to me like, oh, well, it's more expensive because it's a better a better quality. It's like, right, I get that. I'm well aware of what the product, why I can't
Yeah,
buy.
bait and switch, man.
All right. That's so funny that you say that. So I'm sitting there talking to
A
the
lot
bud.
of dispensaries used to do that.
I'm sitting there talking to the bud tender, kind of getting upset at this point. I was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna show you right now." Flipped my phone around, showed him on the weed maps that it said 60, not 80, and they're like, "Oh well, this is our mistake. Like, we're gonna take it off." And they weren't really being that friendly about it. That's neither here nor there. But anyways, the next day I go back. I'm like, "All right." They still didn't fix it on their thing because I told them like multiple times, like, "Hey, whoever's working your leaflet, you should like get them on that and make sure like." So
Yeah,
more people don't come here and have that same issue. So just for shits and giggles, like go back the next day, still marked at 80 a gram, and I like gave them even a harder time. I was like,
yeah,
listen, like I'm your consumer, like I'm your ideal patient, whatever you want to call it, and
yeah,
they're just like giving me a hard time still. And the bartender said the words like, it's like, oh, it's kind of like a bait and switch. And I was like, ooh, that's not like something that you should be saying.
yeah,
I gave them a really poor review on Google, and they responded. This is like a year, 2 years ago, where I had a little bit more free time. So
yeah,
but still, man, that's like, I don't know. All stemming from the question that you asked, what's my opinion? Like on a media standpoint, to answer that question solely, like you said, extraction companies have to pay to pay to play in it. I don't think that that's how that should work. Essentially,
me
where it's like
neither.
where you're having to like pay to like come up on a Google search, so to speak. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think that I don't know, Weed Maps entity, whatever it is, should come up with some sort of realistic way to like shine a light on these companies and work with them together rather than like them making it a pay to play kind of thing, you know?
I agree, man. Like, because that was like there was certain times in Oregon when it was still medical shop to where your rent on your space might be, 2,500 bucks a month, 18 maybe if it was a good deal,
Yeah.
but you have to pay Leafly like 3 racks, you know what I mean, per
Yeah,
month just
man.
to be searchable on there, and it seemed like unfair and
Well, shit, man.
disproportionate
Uh,
from
uh,
from a retail point of view. It's
yeah.
like, dude, are you serious? Like that's way too much.
Yeah, man, and I don't know. I see that there like is a huge amount of disconnect where like user goes to like go, I don't know, say they want a certain product, then they drive to the dispensary and it's no longer there because that store didn't update their weed maps or
Yeah,
leaflet. So dude, there's been countless encounters that I've like driven across town super excited that they had this product that was like still
yeah,
around, and then I get there and they're like, "Oh, actually, it's gone," and it's just like,
yeah.
"Oh man, well, what the fuck?" So I don't know. To answer your question solely on a media standpoint, I think for the same amount of money that they're offering for placement, that you can get into our magazine, get 15,000 magazines out a month that have potential views, all of that good stuff.
No
So
doubt, no
yeah,
doubt. That leads me to my next question, man. Is can you talk about the ad game a little
yeah,
bit
man.
from
So
you?
I mean, we offered tons of different ad spaces. I don't know. So we only sell advertising. That's a way that we kind of separate ourselves from all the other magazines in the industry. I'm not going to name anybody else, but a lot of other publications out there will sell an ad with their story to the point where you can even write your own story and submit it into their magazine. Where we are like polar opposite of that. Where you'll see people in our magazine that may support us with ads and they may get a feature eventually, but it's never solely promised like, hey, sign up with this ad and we're going to do a big old feature on your farm. So don't get me wrong, man. Like we work with some really awesome people that we can like shine the light on and give recognition where it's due organically. So we're really grateful that we have our awesome supporters that we're able to work with and I don't know, give recognition to. But that said, man, I don't know. To answer the question, like we don't just sell ads. We're really like helping people build relationships in the industry. We drop magazines at over 500 dispensaries a month. Then we also go to producers, processors, wholesalers, analytical companies, testing labs, cafes, breweries, whatever. So we're like constantly trying to network and build bridges with the people that are supporting us. So it's like, say you're a new farm that just started advertising in our magazine, we're gonna go out of our way to like try to get them into dispensaries that we have connections with, or introduce them to processors that we have relationships with, you know. So that's the biggest thing that I can't stress enough to all of our supporters, is that when you're buying an ad, you're not only just buying the space in our publication, you're buying access to all of the clientele that we have in the industry. And we really do look out for our supporters, man. You know, like it's what gets us by and makes us able to be a publication. So we really do try as much as we possibly can to try
No
try
doubt.
try to grow brand recognition for all of our supporters, and just help them build as much as we have in our realm and possibility.
Yeah, dude. It was in Oregon Leaf magazine, and it was a review on a strain, and it was from Red Eye Genetics. I think it was called Octane OG.
That sounds bomb.
And dude, like, man, the photo was fire and the review was dope. And I was still a patient in Washington. And so me and my cousin drove up there to Seattle for that weekend.
Hell yeah.
We hit up like 4 different shops just to buy those guys' seeds and run them that year.
That's
It,
see.
and
There's
it was
there's the
cool to
passion,
us
man. You
too
know,
because
there's
it was a Washington breeder, but it was in the Oregon magazine, and it still translated. Like we were still able to go up there and grab those, you know.
hell
It
yeah, man.
it was dope, and like
That's where the
the
passion's
crop
at,
went pretty
man.
good that.
People are missing the passion these days. There's not too many people like still, I don't know, on that hunt to like get those new genetics. You know, I just feel like a lot of people are just getting kind of tired of seeing the same things, but it's really cool with all the people pheno hunting right now. Tons of new genetics constantly hopping online, which makes things super exciting and fun, man. It's like my inner child is like, all these new strains feel like new Pokemon to me. You know, it's like
Same.
gotta catch them all, man. Like a new strain comes out, I'm like, fuck, I need to try this now. You know, it's like irresistible feeling.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, so my next cookie cutter question, Max, is what's your experience with cannabis outside of the magazine? Like, were you a bud tender before?
So my experience came from, I want to say, like, just my upbringing, man. So like my dad, just like old, like Grateful Dead, like he's not a hippie just because, like, I don't know, he's definitely on his business smarts for sure, but just like he's at Seattle Hemp Fest right now. That's an example, you know what I mean? But I don't
Ah,
know.
yeah.
My house was always kind of the cool house, just to like smoke weed and chill and relax at, without having the parental supervision being like super strict about it, you know? Because my
Yeah.
dad like has been smoking for like 40 plus years, and like I grew up just like having that be around, and I always gave him a hard time about it when I was young, because you know, you like grow up in school and they tell you it's bad and
Yeah.
shit, you know? And I like
Same, Max. Same.
dude, I like made my dad smash his bong and like throw away all this dank nug when I was a little kid, and like he still brings it up, you know, like
Yeah.
he's telling me it was for his friend because they're sick and they needed it, and he's like, please don't make me flush it away, and he threw away his bong and like put it in the trash and like considered going and getting it, and still threw it away. But anyways, man, so yeah, I mean, I've always dealt with anxiety and kind of self-medicated with cannabis, and I don't know, that's been like my first experience of just being like teenager, and I don't know, just growing up skateboarding, man. I feel like there's like a huge connection with like cannabis and skateboarding. There's like lots of skaters that smoke weed and shit, you know. So that was like the
I
biggest draw
agree.
the biggest draw for me. Like I was like 13 going into high school, the youngest kid in my school, and like all the kids older than me like sold weed and skated, and I wanted to be like them, you know what I mean? So
Word.
that's what I did, man. You know,
Yeah.
skip Spanish class, smoke lots of mids, and
Yeah. I was a rapper in my youth, bro, and if we'd be out of town promoting or trying to do a show, and we didn't have any weed, the skaters would usually be okay. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, hey, what's up, bro? You know, like pass them a flyer, like, hey, man, we're doing a show. You know, like, man, dude, can you point us in the direction of some nugs? And then most of them would have it right there in the backpack. So it was
yeah,
like,
man.
man,
But
tight, thank
yeah,
you, man.
I grew up on the East Coast though, so I grew up in Maryland, and there's a really big glass scene in like Philadelphia, and not really Maryland particularly, but yeah, mainly Philly, New York as well. But there's like lots of glass shows going on and shit. And like when I was in high school, me and my homie were freshmen, and like his older sister was a senior, and she was just the plug, dude. Like she had fire ass weed getting shipped in from California, and just like showed us the way, kind of just like buying all this nice expensive glass when we were still in high school, and like we were like ripping like acrylic bongs and just bullshit ass glass all the time, and like she's like buying all these nice ass pieces, and like my homie started riding with her and like all the other older homies to all these glass shows and shit, and like dude, now it's like glass pipes are like actually selling for 6 figures. Like there are glass pipes that are worth 100K,
Dude,
so
yeah.
so,
IG shows me some ill ass shit, bro. I'm
but
like, fuck.
back then you could buy the nicest pipe in the gallery for like $1,000. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to see how far things have changed. Like I don't know, since I like really got into it, but shit, man, the love is still there for me. Like I'm still like constantly, I don't know, like we were just talking about searching for that new latest greatest strain, or like keeping up with some of my favorite glass blowers and just seeing what they're up to with developing new techniques and styles and all of that sort of thing.
No doubt.
Yeah, I remember back when I was growing up, my homie's friend, I was growing up in Northern Virginia, my sister always brought up the best herb from Richmond, and it was from Cali.
Yeah.
But it was always hella expensive. It was like fucking $20 a gram. But it was always worth it just because it was always super fire, and it was like that type of weed, like you could take like one gravity bong rip of it and you're good.
I used to sell that same weed for like 25 a gram and $75 an eighth all day throughout high school, and it's just like and now it's I don't know, just kind of like I always reflect, man, like good bad everywhere in between in my life. I'm always reflecting on like what I can do better, what's changed that has gotten better, but still I'm like sitting here thinking like, damn, $40 for an eighth of like top shelf like seems pricey going to buy that now, like back in the day, like I would happily spend 65 if I knew it was gonna be like exotic and fire.
Yeah, absolutely. We just know that too, that like one hit like gets you stoned.
And now you see like really bomb stuff on the shelf that you can find for like $20-$25 an eighth at times if you really source hard enough, So that's like, I don't know, that's one of the things that trips me out the hardest, is just like how like, I don't know, if ourselves could see where we were, like I don't know, let me try to explain that again. If our younger selves could see our future selves and just like see all of the dang shit that we're smoking, and just like the crazy amount of accessibility that we have now, we would just be like flabbergasted and really not know like
I mean, I remember paying $60 for like fucking black oil and thinking like, oh shit, I'm good to go for the next week, like gonna get high as shit.
Exactly, man. So it's all about
it's awesome to hear you say that, because when I feel discouraged about not being closer to my goals than I want to be, that's my comfort, is, well, at least my high school self would be proud of where I'm at right now.
Straight up, man. I'm just like, I'm like, all right, if my 16-year-old self could see this rosin I'm smoking right now, I wouldn't be sad about anything, So sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that like life could be a lot worse, and we have like so many like amazing accessibilities on a regular basis. Like I don't know, the simple things that we overlook on a regular basis, like a shelter, clean water, access to like whatever food we want to eat. Just like little things like that that we can easily just like overmind and just like not really think twice about. Those are the kind of things that like whenever I like get down on my feelings or just have an off day, I'm just like, all right, like my worst day is still better than like a lot of like people can only like imagine my worst day. That's like their dream, you know what I mean? So you gotta remind yourself where you came from and just like how far you've came sometimes also,
Hell yeah, man. Definitely. Good words, Max. God damn, you're a really dope interview, bro.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna come inside real quick. Sorry guys, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes outside.
Oh no, it's all good, man.
All right, we're chilling though. What's the next question?
Okay, I think I got 4 more.
Okay.
Your favorite strain or product?
Ooh, let's That's like such a tough one, man. I feel like working for the Leaf, people are like always looking.
Top five, top
Yeah,
three, whatever.
top three. I feel like that's easier. Or just like some of the best shit I've tried lately. I think that's like easier because it's hard to pick a favorite because there's just like new dank shit coming out on a
Oh
regular
yeah,
basis.
man.
Like
Yeah.
lately here in Oregon, there's just been like a fucking wave of just like fire ass hash rosin. It's like way too much to even keep.
Absolutely.
It's like way too much to even keep up with. Like I was saying
Yeah.
earlier, my buddy is the lead extractor for Happy Cabbage, and he just comes over with like samples of all the stuff that's like prior or getting ready to hit the market and stuff, and it's just like it's overwhelming, man. You know, like honestly, like it's crazy. Like even trying to decide what gram of hash I want to go buy. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. There's been a lot of increase of like good hash rosin producers in Oregon too. I
well,
feel like. I mean,
I,
Bose Knows I had no idea about until now. I tried some of his stuff. He did some collabs with Dirty Arm of all people. You know,
so
if
good, dude.
you're doing a
So good.
collab with Dirty Arm that's extracting, he's giving your flour to. You know, they like to do everything in house mainly.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like a good thing. And you know I just saw a post today where Dirty Arm gave him fresh frozen GMO cookies and fresh frozen sled dog.
Yep.
So
What's sled dog? What's that? What's the cross on
I
that?
have no idea. I
I,
feel like
I
it might
looked
be a Chem Dog cross.
I looked it
Damn.
up. It had a really weird lineage.
But Kim Dog's in there though?
I don't think so.
Oh, your video cut out, Max. Oh, his audio cut out too.
Oh no. Yeah, his thing kind of went
It went red. I can just see
blank.
the
It's
red Discord.
white
There he is.
dog,
Oh, there it
white
is.
dog,
White Dog and Kim
white
Dog?
dog, Cherry Mountain.
Ah.
It's a really weird
Ooh.
one. You should go on Seed Finder and just like watch it just like go out into oblivion. It's like this
It
strain,
goes deep.
dude. It's
Yeah, super deep on each
that's so
parent. I'm
funny.
like,
My
holy
buddy and I
shit.
were like trying to figure out what strain that was last night, and just like kept going and going and going. It's an interesting one for sure. I'm definitely excited to see those collabs though. But to answer the question, yeah, man, like Bose knows he's an extractor that's only working with living soil organic material, which is really badass. I haven't seen that from anyone else in the industry that's taking those strides and initiative to only working with living soil organic material, being an extractor, you know.
Man,
So
what's his name again?
Bose. So his
Bose
name
knows.
Bose knows.
his
Okay, man. I gotta look for that because
his
that's
name
the shit
is
I like.
it's a confusing name, but his name is Bo. So it's like Bose knows. But anyways, yeah. So Bose knows shit has been extremely good. I'm smoking on some of the gelato sundae right now from Bose knows that's super bomb.
Hell
Mountains
yeah.
ice cream to dry mixed together. Like they washed both of them and then combined the hash afterwards, which is pretty interesting. I haven't really heard too many people doing that where it's been like successful, but it's like a perfect combination of the two strains for sure. But yeah, Happy Cabbage throws it down for sure, man. I'm really happy to see that they're starting to work with some new farms. Like their in-house stuff is really good, but they just have been rocking the same strains for a while. So regardless to how good that the strains are, you can just get tired of them after a while. But they just dropped sour trop. It's I don't know what the actual name of the strain is, but it's um sour dub crossed with Tropicana cookies from Oni Genetics, and
Oh damn.
it's supposed to be super fire,
Damn.
like a sour tangy or something almost. But yeah,
Man, that
that's
Tropicana cookies, man. Jackson brought some of that through the studio the last time I was home, and like my producer rents a basement from some folks that he works with. And when he opened that turkey bag, bro, it was fucking loud. You know what I mean? Like super loud. The
freshly
neighbors were pissed.
it's
The
like fresh.
upstairs neighbors are like, "You guys are smoking down there." Like, nah, we just opened up some bags, man. You know, it's the Tropicana cookies. We're sorry. You know, we're smoking outside.
That stuff smells like a freshly squeezed glass of orange juice, man. It's crazy walking into a grow that has that cut in their garden. Like as soon as the door opens, your nose is just like overwhelmed with that
Yeah.
like fresh squeezed orange smell.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
Hell yeah.
Happy Cabbage has been throwing it down recently. They're starting to work with some soil gardens as well, so I'm really excited to hear that also. That's as far as concentrates. Flour. Trying to think. Will, what did you think about that sour sage? Pretty bomb, right?
Super good. Yeah, the sour sage, what was it? Sour sage number 11 or
Yeah.
something.
So
That was the
yeah.
Vino, right?
Who
Yeah.
grew
So
that?
that's gnome
Gnome
grown.
grown. Super
Gnome
good.
grown.
Super, like, I mean, very well manicured sample they gave us. I mean, I'm sure the whole batch is. Super potent smell, pretty, like, I don't know, it's pretty funky to me, kind of gassy, almost like a rotten gin
Like
sauce.
but a unique funky, not like this all this
Yeah,
not like all this other overwhelming like GMO like
definitely.
it's like that strain is kind of in a league of its own in my opinion. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
has
it's kind of got a little bit of sweetness to it. It was very well balanced, I thought.
it's
Almost like kind of like a more complex sweet diesel, which is kind of like,
dude,
forget the
that's a
lineage
great
of that, but it's like a sour diesel cross. But
so that one's really crazy. So it's no sage and no sour whatsoever. So it's sour grapefruit,
yeah.
which is fuck. I'm gonna need to look it up really quickly. Hold on.
Anyways, that sample is a saying from uh-oh.
I can still hear you, Will.
Where that
I
sample from
I dig how
Gnome
he's just
Grown.
like, hold on, let me think that he comes back. That's
Yeah.
awesome, Max. You're the
So
shit. You're the
that
best interview so far, bro. Like, man, super positive.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
let me
down when
get it right. Let me
I'm
double check this.
I'm down whenever, man. I was a little anxious, like thinking, like I don't know, like all day, just like what is this gonna be like? But now that it's happening, I'm down whenever. It's definitely
no,
and
it's chill, it's lax.
yeah,
Yeah,
We're
man.
not doing anything crazy here. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool little podcast, but
Hell yeah.
yeah,
we
So
bro.
it's
have live viewers that tune in, but we're not like it's not like 3,000 people or 100
Nah,
people are tuned in
nah.
right now.
We're bubbling, Max. We're
I
bubbling,
I
man.
got the Makani texting me right now.
Yeah, Makani, dude, Makani will always try and psych you out. He was just over here. He loves.
All right, so sour sage. What makes that up is sour grapefruit crossed with sage cookies. So sour grapefruit is Chem4 crossed with headband crossed with Mendo breath. So no sour or grapefruit in there. I don't know how they got that one. And
Huh.
then sage cookies, no sage in that either. They said they just chose that name because like the structure of the weed reminded them of a cut of sage that they had in the past, but
Uh,
Damn.
the sage cookies is OG Kush breath crossed with a pheno of Girl Scout cookies. So just like super
word.
good, like cookies, like sour, chem, headband, like all of those mixed together, So like that sour gym sock, that's the perfect description, honestly. That just has like a different like musty kind of funk. I really enjoy it though. Being like an East
It's
Coast
super good.
like sour smoker, we don't really see too many fire like sour leaning strains that
No,
much more.
not at
It's a
all.
bit it's a bitch to grow, man. If you ever see sour in anybody's garden, it like stands out in not a good way.
Yeah,
It's like not a pretty
yeah.
plant.
And the other
Yeah.
thing I was gonna say about the sample too is it's very well handled. A lot of people in here, you get like, you get some buds, and you like, wow, like all the trichomes and the sugar leaves look compressed. Like,
Yeah.
everything's like in a tight little bud. Like, did you use a bud hardener or did you just handle it super shittily? Because like honestly, when you grow a
Excellent
strain
points.
correctly, it should be not fluffy. It can, it can like varying densities depending on the strain. But, it should be the trichome should be popping out at you. You should be like, oh wow, some like
Definitely.
full-headed trikes there. And I feel like a lot of people today don't stress enough with the handling. Like it really shows in my mind that any garden that from harvest to cure to preparation for sale, if you're like, hey, like like slow down, don't go as quick on trimming this, or don't, make sure you're handling each nug with care. That goes a long way in my
For sure, man. And Dan and Lynn over at Gnome Grown, they definitely take lots of pride and precaution into their harvest methods, and they
absolutely.
definitely let me know that was like one of their little personal batches that they're trimming up for the Oregon Leaf Cruise. They knew it was gonna get photographed, but not to
Yeah.
say that any of their other stuff on the shelf isn't A+ as well.
Right, right.
I got some of the other samples. What else was there? Is like ice cream cake, GMO, some Durban. Yeah, all of their stuff was super fire. So Gnome Grown crushes. You Green is probably like one of my favorite gardens. They just like they do like exotic ass Jungle Boy strains and Living Soil Organic. Like it doesn't really get that much better.
Dope.
It doesn't really
Yeah.
get that much better in my eyes, to be completely honest. Like people can hate on the hype all they want, but personally, like I love hype. Like that's my shit. And like there's a lot
Yeah.
of there's a lot of
Especially
like
if you back it up,
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, there's tons of shit that like doesn't deserve the hype. Like Mac, for example, like the strain Mac. There's like maybe one or two gardens where I'm like, all right, this actually deserves all the love that people are like freaking out about it. Because I don't know. I feel like if one like rapper or like famous person like makes, I don't know how Mac even got that popular. I guess Capulator just being a legit breeder, but still like I don't know, man. There's only been like one or two examples of Mac where I'm like, all right, this is actually worth all of the hype that it's getting, like a Trop Cookies or GMO or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Geek Farms did a dope Mac last time I was home.
okay, I'm gonna have to
Really?
peep that one.
I've never seen a Geek Farms Mac. I don't think they did that one.
That
No.
wasn't them. I grabbed it from the
No.
store, Will. You guys had
Meraki,
Mac on the shelf.
maybe. The
Meraki.
shoots. The
Deschutes
shoots is what
Brewery?
we had.
All right,
Is
all right.
that was
Ah,
from?
my
Yeah,
bad. I
Yeah,
stand
no, it's all
corrected.
good. I was just like, it would have really like because if Geek did it, that would have really stood
all
out.
right.
I
No,
mean, they do everything fucking crazy.
no.
Deschutes Mac was good too.
Deschutes is the one that I was referring to. That I'm like, all right, this actually deserves it. But I got some
Yeah.
homies that have a garden here in Eugene called Tao Gardens, and it's all living soil, no-till organic, super fire. But they have Mac 2, which is not the same as Mac. It's a different genetic entirely than just the plain Mac by itself. But theirs tastes like Fruity Pebbles, like cream savers, bro. It's super fucking good. Like it
Damn.
looks super frosty, like has that bomb ass bag appeal, but that's like the thing I would compare the two with. Like Deschutes definitely has the other like Mac 2 on bag appeal. Like their shit looks 10 out of 10. Like if you're shopping based on looks, man, that is your strain right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, like I like smoking gas, bro. Like OGs and like sours have my heart infinitely. So like
Yep, that's my favorite terp profile too.
so I don't care what shit looks like. OGs grow ugly as shit, and it's like I know that they're gonna taste fire. Like I just like I'm huge on whatever the smell that I'm smelling crossing over and like
Same.
being what I taste. It's just like
Being true to the strain,
that is something that bothers me like no other. Is like getting a sample and like being so stoked to smoke it and then trying it and it tastes like cardboard. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of weed out there like that, but yeah, you green holds it down super hard, man. They're like always cranking out super fire genetics and just, I don't know, just really solid quality products as well.
I'm gonna plug in my charger real quick.
All right. So my next question, Max, what does the future look like for print media?
I think print's coming back, man. Like personally, I got ever since I started working for Oregon Leaf, I feel like I've put my phone down a little bit more, because like
Yeah.
it's nice just to pick up a magazine and like take your time flipping through it, because like dude, I don't know, I think we're all guilty of just like sitting on our phones mindlessly and scrolling sometimes, so
Yeah, or trying to find some cool interview to watch on YouTube, and I'm just like, man, there's a book sitting next to me right now. You could put your phone down and read this fucking book. You're on chapter 6, fucker. Finish it.
exactly, man. So I'm trying to, I don't know, focus more on things that feel just familiar with myself, which is picking up books, magazines, like growing up skateboarding. That's how you kept up to date with what was going on. You know what I mean? You didn't have fucking Instagram and all these like countless interactions of places that you can like constantly have a source of data of what's happening. You know, so you had magazines back then, and I don't know, man, just working for the magazine has definitely made me appreciate just print. But to answer your question, man, you know, we're doing what we do, which is just putting out stories that are meaningful, that people can relate to, and can gain information from every month.
No doubt. Well, dude, like, really good answer. What are some ideas or concepts that you would like to promote for the future?
More people working together, man. I think that there can be a lot gained from people like sharing information rather than being closed off with each other. You know, some of my favorite gardens and
Definitely.
some of my favorite gardens and owners of gardens that I meet are the ones that are an open book, so to speak. Obviously, there's like certain techniques that you need to hold and keep to yourself, but I think a lot of information could be um, gathered and gained from more people having an open mindset. And I don't know, that's where I see like it being really cool that I don't know, this garden here is working with multiple solventless companies processing their material right now. You know, they're not just like closing off to one set person, and both of the companies are aware of it and they're fine with it. And you know, I think that can like say a lot for those parties that are involved with that interaction, that they're being, I don't know, just transparent about their actions, and
I
just I don't,
agree.
putting out more product and variety overall. You know, I don't think that's ever a bad thing necessarily. So I don't know, to answer your question, I think more people should be more open-minded in general.
No doubt, Max.
Definitely.
Well, like that's my last cookie cutter question is, can you plug your social media? But I mean, do you want to add anything, Wilk? We're right at 9 o'clock. That's an
No,
hour.
I mean, yeah,
Can people
Max
follow
covered
you?
a
Can
lot
people
of
follow
it.
you, Max, as yourself, and then also Oregon Leaf on
Abs-
Instagram or
absolutely,
something? You seem like a
absolutely.
pretty hip cat, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're creeping on 12,000 followers on our Oregon Leaf account right now. And then if you want to add the Oregon Leaf one, is just super simple. It's just Oregon Leaf, no spaces, no periods, nothing. And then
Okay.
my personal one is lifted underscore Stardust. And a lot of people don't know this, but it's an acronym for LSD. That's what Lifted Stardust.
Ah,
That's what Lifted Stardust stands for, because that's all of us are, is Lifted Stardust, man. You know, we have our souls encapsulated by our human bodies. This is our human vessel, but at the end of the
yeah.
day, man, how are we all here? Nobody really knows that, you know. So I think that there's more to life than what the human eye sees and meets every day.
Yeah, we gotta go to a Tool show, you and I, man. Yeah, we gotta do that, bro. Are you into those guys? Have you ever seen them live?
or or Joe Rogan stand up on mushrooms. It sounds pretty lit too.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, like, man, what you're saying, like, Tool talks about a lot of that shit in their music, and they got a new album dropping at the end of the month, and I'm really trying to see them live on this one, man, because
I'm gonna have to check them out, bro. So
Yeah, I don't have much experience with Tool either.
yeah,
Alex,
Lateralis, fellas. Check out the album Lateralis.
Lateralis.
That album is
Word.
about being human on
Alex,
Earth.
Alex Gray does all of their like artwork and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So that's like the association I have, because Alex Gray is like one of my favorite artists for sure. He does some really gnarly stuff.
dope. Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
saw that meme you posted earlier, John. The Tool, was it Ramstein and other fans, like
Yeah.
everyone getting the album, and then System of a Down fans.
Yeah, are in the background like,
Uh, oh,
Yeah.
maybe next summer.
Yeah, yeah, good times,
Well,
man.
man,
Good times.
maybe next week we can just have like a discussion about like-minded mentality and just being open-minded, all of that sort of thing. You know.
Yeah. Well, dude, yeah,
Definitely.
man, can we have you back in the future, dude? I don't know if we
Absolutely,
can.
man. I'd love to. It'd be a pleasure, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really
Oh
appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. We appreciate you being on. This was fucking awesome.
Absolutely, boys. Well, I'm about to hop off and go take a glob, but I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and talk to you both real soon, all right?
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking the time, Max. It was good
Yeah.
interviewing you tonight,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Have a good rest of your
Appreciate
night.
it, man.
Absolutely. Talk to you guys soon.
All
Yeah.
right.
Peace, bro.
Hell yeah, Will.
Word.
Yeah, he was a super dope interview, man.
Yeah, no, that was great. Dope.
Yeah,
There's a reason he's our state director now.
no doubt, man. Lifted Stardust.
Yeah.
Bam. I'm pretty sure I already follow Oregon Leaf because Will works there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get your ass back to Oregon, man, so we can do this in a studio together. Then we can really
Yeah.
chop it up. Then we can like, I mean, I understand like you got to do you. You know, if there's if a job arises, I'm sure you'll take it.
Yeah.
But
It
like,
was
it'd be so dope. We just like we're on the same stream. Just like we only need one stream. We got two mics.
yeah. Yeah. I agree, Will. Like I'm working on it, man. I'm not super doing me down here. I just can go home. Like this is my fun for the week instead of
Yeah,
Sunday nights,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But it would be a lot more fun to
totally.
do it in Oregon. It just necessity led me to find a living wage in another state, but I feel like
I
I can
feel
go back
you.
to Oregon and be
You
cool.
definitely can. There's some opportunities, and yeah, maybe I don't know if you want to work in a retail spot again, but like we're hiring at Natural Wonders and whatever.
Oh,
That
what? I called
yeah,
Jackson earlier this week to see if he wanted to come on the show too. I'm gonna send him a resume and be like, "Yo, still got
yeah,
game,
man. I
son.
mean,
Still
I
got
know
game, son. What's up?"
I know you're about that. You're good about making sure that you whatever job you got that you get enough to get by.
Yeah,
So I don't know, like the Jackson, I enjoy work from them and they pay well.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
man. And Jackson and
I'll
Hannah
disclose that.
are my favorite, man. Like
No,
I would
absolutely.
rock with them forever, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, dude, we're
I'm gonna hit
hiring and
them
we're
up.
looking for like a few people and we're also looking for a manager. So
Okay, I'm gonna hit him up, man. I'm gonna call him this week. I met a girl driving Lyft on Friday that sells mortgages and does all kinds of hype shit. And she was like, "I'll hire you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna call you on Monday." But
oh
I
yeah.
really do want to get back to Oregon. Like it's been nice down here, and I enjoy the warm weather. But there's a lot of things and people that I miss that I
Yeah,
would
definitely,
like to
man. And
be
I also
around
think
on a
like
regular basis.
pretty flexible hours too. So like if we're looking for a few people. So if you were one of them that would just, wanted to come on for like 3 days a week or something or less, like,
Yeah,
and that could find, if you had something else that you wanted to do or two, I know like Travis is working the least so far. And I don't know if he's like looking for other work or doing something else, but he works 4 days a week, I think, maybe less. He
word.
has no,
I'm gonna
he
need like
works three
man.
days a week. He has 4 days off.
I'm gonna
So
need like 4 or 5 days a week because I just want to have one job if I move back, Will.
yeah,
So
I feel you.
I'm
No,
a
no,
gun for
no.
that
We're definitely
manager
working for
position.
yeah, we're definitely working for looking for a fucking full time. But yeah,
Yeah.
Travis only works 3 days a week now. Now that I think
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Yeah.
Who else stuck around, man?
Missy. It's just
Oh, okay.
Missy, me, and Travis.
Damn.
That's it.
Right
Yep.
on. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up, man. I'm solid. He knows what's up. I'm solid.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good looking out, Will. I appreciate that, man.
Heck yeah, man. I
Yeah.
just didn't know that. I only said it because I know you worked with us before at Natural Wonders before. I didn't know if you wanted to work
Oh,
again.
no, no, man. The only reason I left is because I had that farm in Sherwood, bro. And it was
Yep.
just like I gotta be at the farm during daylight hours. I can't pull leaves at night, and I can't
Yeah.
pour tea at
Absolutely. And
night.
that's what I
So
was saying to you. Way more solid than 90% of people behind the counter. So
yeah, thanks,
you know,
Will.
you
I
know, you know,
appreciate
you're,
it.
you know what you're talking about. You know, bullshit people.
Yeah, same to you, Will. Same to you, man.
Yeah,
That's why
man.
we're doing this goddamn
That's why we're
podcast,
doing it.
man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why we're both bud tenders at what I think is the best,
Yeah,
dispensaries
the
and
best shop.
natural wonders. So
Your bud tender's favorite dispensary in Portland.
exactly,
Natural
that's what it
Wonders,
is.
PDX.
It still
Yeah.
is.
Yep, still is. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like that's a wrap, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my outro dance. This was the 18th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I was your host, Katie M. Kane. With me was my co-host, Will Terps. Our guest was Max Early tonight, man. He did a super stellar interview. Can't wait to share this on my social media. I got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry. This has been a Main Node and Joseph Street Enterprise production.